You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another informative episode of Ask Drone U. My name is Paul.
My name is Rob. Super glad that you are hanging with us today. Appreciate you spending a few minutes. AskDroneU.com for your question.
Definitely throw in those questions at AskDroneU.com. Very interesting question today about firmwares. And I gotta say, Rob, I am so grateful to hear people who have listened to the show for as long as this guy has and followed direction, and he's found it absolutely successful.
Yeah, it's cool.
And that is awesome, but it's also awesome because in this particular case, it takes dedication and habits and routines to actually be able to follow this particular advice, meaning his drone's not connecting to the internet or his app isn't allowed to gather data from the internet whatsoever. So I'm really excited about this particular one.
All right, well, dig in. We have a sponsor today.
I would say that today our sponsor is Rob's Bald Head. Welcome to a world of efficiency. You know why? Because you don't have to do your hair in the morning. All right, I digress.
Right on.
Hey guys, this is Sanford from Illinois. Been a listener since the beginning. Paul, many moons ago, in the early days of the P4P version 1, you had taken the position that you would not recommend updating the firmware for many reasons, including security, stability, and feature removal. So I have followed that advice and have had no issues except the database update reminder. My question is, has your position changed, and should I leave my P4A version 1 as is, or should I update it to the most current firmware? Thanks.
Thank you, Sanford. Appreciate it very much. Thank you for listening from the beginning. Wow, that's really humbling and awesome and very appreciated. So hopefully you've gotten some nuggets over the years.
Humble indeed, Rob. If you remember our old Indeed sayings.
Yep.
Yeah, that is
certainly do.
A blast from the past right there.
Well, fitting for this particular show in question.
Fitting indeed. Anyway, I have to say thank you for listening to the show as long as you have as well. In addition, like I said, it takes a lot of perseverance to keep your drone on the original firmware and turn off data to your phone or to the app as a whole. So that way it doesn't try to force a firmware upgrade, which has happened. And so mad props to you, dude. Like seriously, well done.
You made it a long ways.
I wonder if he uses an iTouch or a Crystal Sky or something. Yeah. Because that makes it a whole lot easier to have that older firmware. Now, I would recommend to him that he doesn't change the firmware. I think that the new firmwares have done nothing but play daddy even more so by slowing down gains, by removing certain features. If many of you remember, and this isn't on the Phantom, this is on the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual, but DJI just broke Supreme Court law by removing a feature on the drone. What did they remove? Isotherms. It's gonzo. And so they might be in serious trouble, although I believe it's probably an infringement lawsuit from FLIR as to why they did that. But that said, this is all speculation. I don't know. I don't know, okay? But with all that said, I would say stick with your current firmware, because if you did want to hack your drone to remove no-fly zones from DJI's GeoZone 1.0 or 2.0, it is the easiest to hack your drone for increased features when you're on that original firmware, especially if you use Drone Hacks or any of the other likes, because long and the short of it is that, look, that reminder to update the aircraft zone, that is no big deal. Just keep hitting ignore and you'll be 100% and totally fine. And I would say I don't think that there's really any benefit of updating the firmware. Now, for you people who have already been updating your firmware, you're kind of screwed because you're already in the firmware updating realm. And that means you're going to have to continue updating firmware. By the way, did you notice that he said he has a P4A? That was the best Phantom ever made. Absolute best Phantom ever made. I want another one. We had the very last one DJI made in the United States, if you remember that, because we got it from DJI NYC. And one that was
where
on...
is it?
It died.
Is it at the bottom of a lake somewhere?
No. It's actually right over there. It's one of those that's over to your right, over his right shoulder.
Can we at least fly it just with no camera?
We can fly it with no camera. Yeah, if you remember, the gimbal went out on that drone.
Yeah.
So
probably hanging right over there, maybe, or something.
That actually, yep. But just so you know, too, thank you again for calling in. But if you ever do want to hack the aircraft, you have to go back to that original firmware to do it. So you're kind of already in the best place possible. I don't really see value in updating the aircraft. I really don't. And I'm sure DJI would be like, but don't you want them to have the most up-to-date airspace maps? And I'm like, your airspace maps are not government mandated airspace maps. They are your interpretation of airspace. And no, that's what I would say.
You can use an app for that anyways, huh?
Yeah.
Different app.
By the way, Google's new, what is it called? OpenSky, which I always struggle with the name because I have a credit card named OpenSky, I think. Yep, it's called OpenSky. It is a killer app.
Really?
It is the best damn flight app I have ever seen. And I am not surprised that Google just like crushed it. Just like boom.
It's free?
And it's free. Yeah, I know. UA Sidekick, you might have to start paying for ads for us to keep promoting you. Anyway, that was just a joke. But long story short is, I see no value in updating his drone. Maybe update your flight app to look at airspace, not through DJI, to get a better understanding of exactly where you are in airspace. Because Drone U and I believe that every pilot should be aware of how to safely access airspace. So
Indeed. All right.
Which is why you should take the Trust program. If you're a recreational or hobby pilot, this show is brought to you by the FAA's Trust program. Take your Trust exam at faatrust.thedroneu.com and get your recreational certificate to fly right meow. Is that going to do it for us?
I think so.
All right. Well, go take that test right meow.
Thanks, guys.